Texans up to 5-5. Things are shaping up nicely for the Texans. How nicely, though? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good luck.
It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too plugged in daily digital.
It is a wild time for the Texans. The goal has been reached. 5-5 is reality. The Texans very much in the playoff mix, but they got a tough Buffalo team coming to town, and they got a lot of company, familiar company, in that playoff mix. Things are shaping up nice for the Texans. Just how nice and how much longer are you going to have to watch Davis Mills playing quarterback? Do you want to continue to watch Davis Mills playing quarterback? We'll attack all of that in this week's Locker Room post-week outlook right here live on YouTube. Shout out to Sleeper, the greatness that is Sleeper, for sponsoring the video. A lot of people sending me their picks. Seems like all of y'all are winning the higher lower game on Sleeper and talking about how great the scoring app is. I've not had the luck. It feels like I'm 4 out of 5. If you only had to get 4 out of 5, I would be good, but I am not performing as high as a lot of the viewers, which is better because y'all are the ones that matter anyway. So you can get a $20 free entry if you've never played. Very simple. They put a amount of yards on a player. You say higher or lower. You pick as many players as you want from 2 different teams. The odds stack up, and you get to play. It makes every game more fun. You can play for $20, free entry, no deposit needed, no information, anything. And you can get a 100% match up to $100 by using that promo code LOCKER. We will lay out our sleeper picks a little later on in the week. We're going to have to find out, though, first, if Davis Mills is going to be the quarterback. D'Amico Ryans was at the podium today. We'll talk a little bit about the Tennessee game, although talked a few hours about it today already on the streams. But let's hear what D'Amico had to say about getting CJ Stroud back, and if he thinks that's going to happen.
We're hopeful for CJ to get back healthy. That's the first thing, the most important thing. And for me and my spot, I just have to deal with it based on when they pass the steps they need to pass, and if they are available, then being able to see them on the field, see them get reps, and see how that goes. But as of right now, it's kind of nothing, that I can do, from my seat here. I'm just praying for those guys to just get back healthy.
There you go. And he mentions those guys because Jalen Petrie also in concussion protocol. Now, the injury report did have some good news when it comes to Jalen Petrie. Jalen Petrie was a limited participant, and I would bet that Jalen Petrie plays on Thursday. I think there's a good chance that Jalen Petrie does play. If you ask me right now, I think tomorrow we get official word that CJ Stroud will not play. And the next time we'll see CJ Stroud, if I was guessing, will be against the Indianapolis Colts in 13 days. So that would give him 4 weeks of rest with the concussion, and that would be my guess. That's what I think we're headed towards. That's how I thought we were headed towards before today. And I think life with Davis Mills continues for a little bit. We'll get into the state of the QB position in a sec. First, though, let's go to the chat here live in the Locker Room post-week outlook. Shout out to everyone who joined SNL today for Reaction Monday. Be sure to join us at Spanky's this Friday in Sharpstown. This is going to be a special one. Beers on us. You just got to come up to us and say, beer me. First beer. I know how you guys drink. But come up there. We're going to react to the Bills game. There's going to be a lot going on. Homemade dough, homemade sauce, just great food, great camaraderie. Always a fun time at Spanky's. Live broadcast at 4. So we look forward to seeing y'all there. A lot of guys who rolled last week said they're going to be there as well. So we look forward to seeing y'all out there. Hopefully some of y'all in the chat we see as well. Malik's got a 2-piece for me.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Malik, shout out to Malik. He says, Petrie coming back, and I guessed right. CJ not coming back. Left a real sour taste in my mouth for him. It's not like he's getting any treatment. You have to gut it out like Petrie, Howard. Both are more physical guys. Yeah, I don't know how the concussion thing works. I don't know how you gut it out or anything. They're kind of weird about that. But I get what you're saying. Also, we need to give Petrie his credit. He might be paid early, but his backups missed tackles and caused busted plays. Definitely is faster with him. National media experts and Ryans rate him highly, and some of us don't. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot to be desired when it comes to coverage, and I think they kind of take it too far. But yeah, I mean, if you're asking me about like comparing Jalen Petrie and Miles Bryant, obviously Jalen Petrie is better. I also think he could be a big factor against a Buffalo team that they played very, very well against last season. And the Texans actually opened as a 3.5-point favorite against, or 3.5-point dog against the Bills. Excuse me, 3.5-point favorite would be insane. But they opened as a 3.5-point dog. And as I'm looking at the line now with the Stroud news, it's up to 5.5. So the Texans are getting 5.5 points at home. The Buffalo game looks a lot different. And I will say this, and I want you to hear me out when I say this, because when I first say it, you'll say, what? What are you talking about? But the next two games are actually laid out very nicely for the Texans, who right now sit at 8-8. They're on the outside looking in of the playoff picture. The other 5-5 teams that they're with are two teams that you were trying to chase. Ironically, you have the same record as them, but it's not the record you want. The Chiefs and Ravens, those were two teams that we talked about. The Texans, you want to get up to that point. You want to get to the level of the Chiefs and Ravens. Well, the good news, through 10 games, you are at the level of the Chiefs and Ravens. The bad news, you're all 5-5. And you're looking up at 7 teams with winning records. The Jags are 6-4. The Chargers are 6-4. You've already played the Jags. You play the Chargers later in the season. Buffalo's 7-3. You got them Thursday night. And then Pittsburgh is 6-4. They're going to have to duke it out with Baltimore. Might have to do so without Aaron Rodgers. And then you have the Colts at 8-2 and the Patriots and Broncos at 9-2. So you're there with the Chiefs and Ravens. It's just not where you want to be. So when I say the schedule is laid out nicely for the Texans the next two games, some people may say, what? They're facing the Buffalo Bills. They're facing the Indianapolis Colts. They're not going to be favored in either one of those games. How can you say that the schedule's laid out nicely? It's easy. It's laid out nicely because you come into the season with the understanding that you're going to play these teams, right? You come into the season with the understanding that who your opponents are. Before they lay out the schedule and the order of the schedule and all that, you know that. You know who you're going to face. Well, you're getting Buffalo on a short week, which I don't think there's any scenario in the world where the Texans are going to be favored to beat the Buffalo Bills. But you're facing them on a short week. They have to come to your place. That's an advantage. You don't get many advantages over the Buffalo Bills, but that is an advantage. Then you get the Colts. And as a result of that short week that you have to go through, that we always hear about, but the other team has to go through it too. As a result of that short week, you're getting 10 days rest before you face the Colts, which you're giving your quarterback time to rest. You're giving a lot of key players time to rest. So it's actually pretty well laid out for the Texans the next 2 weeks, given the fact that you already know who the opponent is, but the layout of it is actually laid out pretty nicely for the Texans. And it will be interesting to see what Buffalo Bills team we see. They kind of flipped the switch. Josh Allen did, at least, when the Bills faced the Buccaneers this week. But you never know what Buffalo team you're going to get. There have been some rough times for Buffalo. Now, it would be nice if the Texans could improve their red zone offense, which Nico Ryans admits is one of the biggest problems with this team, whether it's CJ Stroud or Davis Mills. They're one of the worst in the league at it.
Defensively in the red zone, we got to make the play. Like, we got to be where we're supposed to be, and we have to make the play. That's it in the red zone. Like, there's no other way around it. I always tell our guys, at any given point in the game, like, you're going to have a one-on-one opportunity, and it's your job to go make the play. When you're in position, like, you have to finish and make the play. We've been there a lot of times in the red zone defensively, and we have not made the play. So we gotta get on the right side of that, right? We got to just finish better.
So there you go. He took it to the defense. Now, I think this is interesting because the defense is one of the best in the league. Statistically, it's one of the best. It's the best scoring defense in the league. You look at the quarterbacks they've beaten some crappy quarterbacks. They've lost to the competent quarterbacks that they faced. They split with Trevor Lawrence. They beat Cam Ward twice. They beat Mac Jones. They beat Cooper Rush. And they beat who's the other quarterback they beat? Cooper Rush, Mac Jones, Cam Ward, Cooper Rush. Yeah, that's who they beat. Cooper Rush, Mac Jones, Cam Ward twice, Trevor Lawrence. So there you go. Not phenomenal. Then you look at the serviceable quarterbacks that they faced who kind of just felt the game out. And then were able to flip the switch at the end because the Texans offense didn't do them any favors. Baker, Stafford, Lawrence, Bo Nix, and who is it? Baker, Stafford, Bo Nix, Lawrence, and I know y'all got me on this. Sam Darnold. Yes, Sam Darnold. How could I forget? Monday night, Sam Darnold. So if they beat Josh Allen, it'll be by far the best team they've beaten. It'll be by far the best quarterback that they've beaten. There's no doubt about that. And if they beat Buffalo, then things get real interesting. Now, here's where it gets awkward. And part of the point of the post-week outlook is to kind of look at your own paper, but take your eyes off your own paper and kind of see what the rest of the teams in the league are working with, what you need to happen, and everything going on that. Now, here's the interesting thing for Texans fans. And this might be hard for all of you, but I promise you it's in your best interest, even though it might be uncomfortable. The next 2 weeks, Texans fans should be rooting for the Colts and the Cowboys. I know a lot of you are throwing up right now just at the thought of that. That's probably the two most unpopular teams. You throw the Titans in there. But you're rooting for you're rooting for the Colts and you're rooting for the Cowboys because that's who the Chiefs play. Now, the reason why is the Colts lead in the division is just so big that it's a long shot anyways. The Chiefs are tied with you right now in the standings. You're 5-5. So if Indianapolis is able to beat Kansas City this week, then you stay shoulder to shoulder with the Chiefs, who you play later on in the season, and you have a chance to take the tiebreaker. Furthermore, if the Colts run away with the division, week 18 doesn't mean anything. And we saw this with the Titans when they faced the Texans. I bring this up because it's important. In week 17 of 2019, the Texans laid down for the Titans. Texans had already won the division, and the Titans got in the playoffs, and then they made a run. So you want the Colts to just run away and push the Chiefs back, and then the Cowboys play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, and the Cowboys have no impact on you. And if they can beat the Chiefs, then it's even more of a favor for you. So it sucks. It's not the way that you want to live if you're a Texans fan. It's damn sure not how comfortable for you. But the next 2 weeks, if let's say the Texans split, if the Colts can beat the Chiefs and the Cowboys can beat the Chiefs, then the Texans are the Texans are in the playoff picture pretty much. The Jags, I don't take that team serious. I know they just beat up on the Chargers, The way that they acted leading up to that and the way they acted during that, I'm betting on the Cardinals this week. Cardinals open as a 2.5-point favorite against the Jags. I'm betting on the Cardinals this week. Much like I thought it was a trap game for the Texans when it came to the Titans, I'm betting on the Cardinals this week. The Jags just acted like they won the effing Super Bowl after that game. It's the same thing that they did after they beat the Chiefs. I am betting on the Jags this week, on the Cardinals this week. And I thought Stoots brought up a good point. The stuff that happened this week, your favors were done for you. The Broncos beat the Chiefs, pushed them down to where you are in the standings, to where you're both 5-5. Chiefs, that switch that I thought they were going to flip, it's not flipping. The Chargers, they lose to the Jags. You get the Chargers too. And you're equal with the Jags. So it's uncomfortable. But go Colts, go Cowboys. For the sake of the Texans. I know you feel dirty. But that's what it is. I think the Cardinals are getting 2.5. Did I say they were 2.5-point favorites? That's on me. I'm taking the Cardinals. I'm taking the 2.5 at home. Whatever it was. But if you think that they can still win the division, then you think the Texans are basically going to go 5-2 the remainder of the season. It seems a little bit crazy to me. Schedule's also getting a lot tougher. It's getting a lot tougher. You got Buffalo, you got the Colts twice, you got the Chargers, you got the Chiefs, two desperate teams, and then you got the Raiders and you got the Cardinals. You're going to have to win those Raiders and Cardinals games. And then you're going to have to go 3-2, most likely to get in the playoffs. So the Buffalo game would be a good start. The Colts game, let's say that the Week 18 doesn't matter. There's another. This is shaping up interesting. This is put up or shut up the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be a fun week. Practice tomorrow, day off Wednesday, and then boom, game on Thursday. We'll have the post-game stream, and then Spankies. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the craziest Spankies day. We don't have to cover a game this week. Cody's buying beers for everyone. All you got to say is beer me to Cody. I don't know if y'all saw Cody today. He probably needs some beer to wipe the taste out of his mouth. Cody today on SNL wasn't the best time for him. A lot of people gagging. We had a try bet, which is 3 reasonable ingredients. Cody had to drink, and you can go check out the video. He had to drink 2 ounces of apple cider vinegar, 2 ounces of pickle juice, and 2 ounces of chocolate milk. Not great for him. He didn't think that Woody Marks was going to be the full-time back. Speaking of full-time, Davis Mills, he's been the full-time quarterback the last couple of weeks. Davis Mills been playing pretty well. One of the things that he's been doing really, really, really well is connecting with Nico Collins. 25 targets the last 2 weeks. Nico Collins was kind of a non-factor early in the season. Davis Mills has that chemistry with him. Here's D'Amico Ryans talking about Davis Mills feeding the beast.
They've done it before, and they continue to do it. They're doing a good job. Davis is doing a good job of finding the right guy. Throw it down there to 12, and he's going to make a big play for us. Those guys are doing a really great job, and it's no bigger play than the 3rd and 16. I mean, the play that Nico makes, the catch, to be able to get both feet down, it's an outstanding play. Great job by Davis of giving him opportunity to finish that play in bounds. So, when we needed a spark, we needed to get going. Like, we started to feed the ball to our best player, Nico, and he showed up and showed why he's one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, and it's good to see. It felt like a long time no see for a while. Something I do always see, though, is the greatness that is TDECU. Shout out to TDECU, proud sponsor of Reaction Monday, proud sponsor of SNL, proud sponsor of CJ Stroud, proud sponsor of Cougs Stadium. You can get the Texans debit card. All you got to do is go to tdecu.org/Texans. You get that fresh new logo Texans debit card. With that, you get 15% off the team shop. If you don't want the Texans debit card, you can get the Cougs debit card. And with the Cougs debit card, you can get the Bucky's debit card. They got something for everyone tdcu.org/Texans. They got you covered. How much credit are you giving Davis Mills, though? How much credit are you giving Davis Mills? Are we done minimizing Davis Mills' contribution the last 2 weeks? Are we done doing that? And by we, I don't mean everyone. But there was kind of an effort to kind of minimize anything Davis Mills did. And I get it. We've seen Davis Mills play. We kind of have a good idea of what Davis Mills is. Has he gotten better, though? I think he's a really, really good backup. I don't think you ever want Davis Mills to be your full-time starting quarterback. In a perfect world, you want a quarterback on your roster better than Davis Mills. Perfect world, that's what you want. But can he improve? Could he improve from what he was? Because it feels like there's just a gasp every time that Davis Mills does anything, and we forget that this was one of the worst offenses in the NFL before Davis Mills took over. It's been the same crap. Now, they had an elite stretch 2 weeks ago, but it's been the same crap. Bad red zone, can't run the ball, shaky offensive line. It's the same thing. But is it possible he can get better? Like if Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones and some of these other guys can get better, can Davis Mills become better now than he was back then? His surroundings are better. Even these flawed surroundings are better than anything he's ever played with. So can we give Davis Mills his props? Now, where are you looking to say that Davis Mills is so bad? You can't look at what was happening before him, because they already have one of the worst offenses in the league. So it's not like there's anything this year that you point to and say, wow, they were doing this a lot better. It wasn't happening. Not consistently. Like maybe in stretches against bad teams, but it wasn't happening consistently. That Titans game, the offensive performance was terrible. They had 6 points through 3 quarters the first time around. So what is the approach to minimizing what Davis Mills has done? Is it, well, they're beating crappy teams? That's the other problem that you're going to have if you're going to do that. These are common opponents. CJ Stroud started against both of these teams. He went 1-1. Davis Mills went 2-0. So you're not doing it there. I agree CJ Stroud is better, but what is the minimization of Davis Mills? What is there to say that Davis Mills is like, how are you minimizing what he's doing right now? I don't think you can do it. Some people think the offense looks better. I would say that there are certain elements of this offense the last 2 weeks that have been better with Davis Mills. And maybe the mental reps that CJ Stroud goes through puts it to where the more talented guy is able to take advantage of those things. Seems like the offensive line's more organized. They're not great, but it seems like they're more organized. It seems like whatever Davis Mills is saying before the snap, it feels like it's a little bit more organized. There's not as many jailbreaks. That wasn't really a jailbreak on the 4th and 2. That was Woody Marks missing a block. Seems like he knows to force the ball to Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins seems a little bit more comfortable. Heard Jaden Higgins say, it's nice to have the quarterback trusting me today when I talked to him. So we'll see what happens when CJ comes back. But there are some elements of this offense, and it wasn't a good offense from the beginning, that I think are a little bit better. Now, here is a question that I do think will make you think a little bit. And reminder, join us at Spanky Sharpstown Friday for a special gathering, little football Friday action. Just say, beer me, first beers on me and Cody. But here is a Davis Mills question that kind of makes you think. And I don't know why. I was thinking about this when I was driving up to practice today. And I think it's interesting because I do have there's a bias against what we saw from Davis Mills early, to where it's just completely dismissive that there's any way that he can be the best quarterback on the roster, short and long term. It's just how That's just how I think most people feel. It's how I feel. I think it's how you feel. But let's pretend, though, that the last 2 weeks, every single thing that Davis Mills has done, what if it were Graham Mertz? Like, what if this were a rookie quarterback that you had never seen before, and he was out there and he did the exact same stuff in the last 2 weeks after what we saw earlier in the season? If he did that, what would you think of him? Like, what would your thoughts be? Like, would you be entertaining the possibility that maybe he's the guy, like, better? Would you be entertained? Would you think more of it? Because I think you would have to. Because there are some things that are being done well, and there are some things that are bad that were bad before he got in there. And I said this last week at Spanky's. It's not as much about Davis Mills as it is about CJ Stroud. This is not new. This is not new. We went into this season, and it was the most important year of CJ Stroud's career up to this point, because it's also one of the more important years for the Texans, because you're figuring out and you're deciding if you're going to pay CJ Stroud franchise quarterback money early on, make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. That's going to be the value. Now, before he got hurt, the answer was probably not. That we didn't really see anything to where it was an absolute yes. Now, the good news is it's not a deadline. It's when you can actually do it. So you can develop into that. But when you see someone take over and there's a little bit of intrigue and there are some elements of the offense that are better, it makes you wonder a couple of things. There's many ways where we can go with this. Number one, is this the right system for him? If there's a quarterback that's more comfortable in this system, is this the right system for him? This is what we were asking, and this is what I asked Nick Caserio and I asked Nick Cayley. Why in the hell is the old Patriot offense the best offense for CJ Stroud? I thought that was interesting. I thought it was interesting that they decided that. So if Davis Mills goes in there and Davis Mills looks more comfortable, maybe that's as much of an indictment on the surroundings and the system. The other thing is, maybe there's just some things that CJ doesn't do well that Davis Mills does well. Now, to follow up on that, you got to ask, okay, are these things that aren't that important? Or are these things that you need to do just to play at the NFL level? One of the things that I thought Davis Mills did say, and I found this a little bit interesting. I know the chat always gets a little bit fired up when you're talking about quarterbacks from one extreme to the other. One of the things that I did find interesting is the composure of Davis Mills and what D'Amico Ryans and what everyone keeps talking about. And I wonder, and I'll ask you, does this matter? Is this important? Is this crucial for a quarterback to have a franchise quarterback? I thought this was very entertaining. This is with the great Jonathan Alexander of the Houston Chronicle and Davis Mills, just talking about his composure, his mindset, all that. Here's Davis Mills with Jonathan Alexander.
Davis, what is your process in remaining calm throughout the game, even in the late game?
I don't know if there's too much of a process. I think it's a lot of it is my natural demeanor. I've never been very emotional as a person. Never kind of got too upset if something bad happens. I've always had the mindset and the mentality of kind of what next play. You hear it a lot in the football terms, like next play mentality. And D'Amico talks about it a lot, but that's kind of just how I've always been on the field and off the field. Can't really control the uncontrollables. You just got to focus on what's next and what you can do to change the outcome of the game in the best way possible.
Do you like the high pressure moments?
Yeah, they're fun. I think kind of everything kind of slows down. The field, the space opens up, and when you can settle in there and you know exactly what your process is, you know exactly what the play that's being called is, and you can kind of, especially late in the game, like I've seen the defense the whole entire game at this point, so I know most of their calls, the disguises that they've already showed, and you can kind of start using the stuff in your mind to anticipate and play even faster.
I I love the mindset. I think most people do like that mindset. And I just wonder if that is how you would describe the Davis Mills mindset. How would you describe the CJ Stroud mindset? And does it matter? And is it important? Because I think it's really, really something that might need to be looked at when it comes to CJ Stroud reaching the level that he can get to. We've talked about it. We talk every day about this. This isn't like some knee-jerk stuff. Like you can drag this on and off. And this is about CJ. This isn't about Davis Mills. So we'll take this. We'll take this off. I'm not. This has nothing to do with Davis Mills. So I don't even want the name Davis Mills up here on the effing screen when I'm making this point. But I think this is the difference between what we've seen from CJ Stroud early on in his tenure, and it's very early. He's got plenty of time. Got plenty of time to learn. He's got plenty of time to become the quarterback, the franchise quarterback that you have 100% comfort in paying franchise quarterback money. It's not a done deal. It's not anything like that. This is about the current state. This is about the current state. We're not even halfway through the rookie contract yet. We're damn near halfway. So you don't have to decide to give him an extension this offseason. It doesn't have to happen. But when you get the visual of Davis Mills and you hear the coaching staff praise him for not getting too high or too low, isn't that kind of one of the things that it feels like CJ Stroud has struggled with? He said it himself. He said it himself multiple times. He has 100% said this multiple times in many different ways, where after the first season, there's many quotes from the next season. I thought it was easier than it actually was. I got a little bit too high. I had to step back. And then when things got low, it almost felt like he was too low. We're in 2024 right now. We haven't gotten to 2025. We're working our way there. But last year, I'm not having fun. Kind of felt a little bit defeated. Looked like the saddest guy in the world at the podium. You've seen him on the sidelines at times when they're losing. This has been a constant. We can take this into 2024 and 2025, where he just looks defeated. And he's talked about not getting too high and not getting too low. When you get a visual of Davis Mills, it's not about this guy has the best mindset ever and you want to build your team around Davis Mills. It's just at least like a visual of what perhaps has kind of held CJ Stroud back from early on in his rookie contract getting to that point. That's the thing that I think is something to really keep an eye on when it comes to CJ Stroud. That's what I look at when it comes to this. And that's what they're going to have to figure out. You can see on the chat, there's disagreements on the Davis Mills and the CJ Stroud thing. Davis Mills has played bad teams. Well, Texans haven't beaten good teams this year. But these are common opponents. These are common opponents. You can put the stats side by side if you want to. If you want to minimize it, you can put the stats side by side. But it's not really that it has as much to do with CJ as it does anything else. So it's not really about Davis Mills as much as it is about CJ, and maybe CJ being able to watch and kind of learn something from Davis Mills. But at the moment, CJ Stroud remains in concussion protocol. Other injury news with the Texans, and this is an injury report that you take like with about more than a grain of salt when it comes to checking this out, because at the moment there really hasn't been a full practice. But the guys that did not participate, Jamal Hill and CJ, don't anticipate them playing this week. And then The guys that had full participation, but are mentioned, Barrios, Bryant, Fairbairn, Hanson, Ingram, Mills, Stover. We'll keep an eye on them. And then you had the limited participants, Azeez Al-Shire, knee. He's been kind of banged up. Will Anderson, rest. Nico Autry, always rest. Trent Brown, hand and knee. Keep an eye on that. And Titus Howard, who left the game. And then you got Nico, Petrie, and Schultz. I would be surprised if Schultz really practiced on any of the first practices of the week. So tomorrow we'll get a look at practice and we'll see. But I would anticipate that tomorrow we get the official word and we get the official confirmation of CJ Stroud not playing. And then hopefully CJ is ready to go for Indianapolis. And you can learn stuff from Davis Mills. Like it's not the end of the world. Like this could be a situation where you learn something. You see he's forcing the ball to Nico. You see kind of the mannerisms that he has when the team falls down. However, 17 points or whatever against the Jags. You see that. And you kind of take away from that and you're a better version of yourself when you come back. That's the goal for CJ Stroud. The whole goal and the thing that can benefit the Texans most is he improves. And he needed to improve before Davis Mills played, and he's going to have to improve after. So it could be a lot worse when it comes to CJ Stroud. And the good news for him, he's going to inherit a football team because of the efforts of Davis Mills. He's going to inherit a football team that has a chance to make the playoffs. That's really all you can ask for if you're CJ Stroud. So we'll see what kind of version we get. It's most likely going to be 4 weeks after. There's still like a small chance. I would say 2% chance, maybe less, that we get some sort of news that he's heading that way. But I don't know why they would throw him out there at this point. So that's what we're going to see with CJ. And it's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a fun time to check it out. If we're looking at the first 10 games of the season, I really don't know that we know a lot that we didn't already know about this Texans team. We knew they were going to have a good defense. How good? They'll be tested. These final 7 games going to be much tougher than it was. We knew that they had an elite edge duo. Those guys are playing like that. We knew they had elite corners. Those guys are playing like that. We knew that the offense was going to be shaky. It's been that. You can make a case that the offensive line has actually improved. And we really don't know any more or less about CJ Stroud at this point than we have. And hopefully this final 7 games give us a visual. But if it doesn't happen, you still have another couple years of the rookie deal before you have to figure it out. So it doesn't have to be so like either CJ Stroud sucks or Davis Mills is the worst thing ever and blah, blah. No, I mean, Davis Mills hands CJ Stroud the football. They're either going to be 5-6 or they're going to be 6-5. And CJ Stroud's going to have a chance to improve and perform better than he did before Davis Mills took over. It's not hard. So there's got to be some improvement for CJ. And hopefully he gets a chance to figure it out. When he gets back on the turf. Speaking of turf, y'all know where this is going. Texans turf. The greatness of Texans turf. Best thing that I did for my house, Dan the man. He is a miracle worker. Whether it's for me, whether it's for some of the biggest houses in town, whether it's putting greens, playing surfaces, anything, Dan the man has got you covered, just like he got me covered. I was a customer before we started the partnership with Houston Football, S&O in the locker room, and I'll be a customer for life. And everyone, not one person that has followed my lead and gotten Texans turf regrets it because he's the best. He doesn't rip you off. The drainage is insane. I don't know how he does that, but the drainage is insane. It's dry after it rains like crazy. It's easy to clean up. The pets love it. The kids love it. No more mud, no more insects, any of that stuff. Increased property value, jealous neighbors, all that. Go to TexansTurf.com before the holidays. You will not regret it. I want to light a fire. Let's see what the crazy people are talking about when it comes to the Davis Mills thing. Some of y'all are you got to have CJ. Yeah, you got to have CJ. What does it look like whenever CJ goes in? What does it look like? I don't know. What did it look like before? It didn't look great. He's got a chance to flip the switch. One of the worst offenses in the league. But we'll see what CJ does. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see. They've laid it out. Like, there's interest, there's buzz. This is going to be a crazy week, battle red week, all that type of stuff. Can the defense shut Josh Allen out like they did last season? I don't know. There still seems to be a few flaws in the offense or defense in the middle of the field. They're good, but we'll see. It's going to be a nice rally, and we'll get the news on CJ tomorrow. So we got a wild week ahead. Reminder, Spanky Sharpstown this Friday. If you really haven't been to those, they're really fun. The off-record conversations are more fun than even the broadcast. Broadcast is always fun. It's going to be even more fun because it's going to be a reaction Friday/Monday, whatever. It's going to be one of the best broadcasts we've had. So just go up to Cody, say, beer me. He's got you covered. First drink on us, happy hour, all that. It's going to be fun. But CJ Stroud, I would not, if I were guessing, I would not anticipate that CJ Stroud plays this week. So to reset the state of the Texans right now, you're 5-5. You're right there with the Ravens. You're right there with the Chiefs. You're on the outside looking into the playoffs, but a lot of teams above you. You play. The layout of the next two games, very nice. You got Buffalo coming to your spot in a short week, and then you got 10 days to face Indianapolis. Colts, you want them to beat the Chiefs, and you want the Cowboys to beat the Chiefs. Not comfortable to root for the Colts and the Cowboys, but that is what you need to happen if you're a Texans fan. Focus on the wild card. It'd be nice to get a wild card at this point, right? Don't you want a different route? Aren't you tired of that early? You might even be able to avoid the early start for the first time in franchise history. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And then we're going to get a look at CJ Stroud, and we'll figure out, and they'll have to go back to evaluating the way they did. And it's going to be at the highest level. It's not going to be any mop-up duty. It's going to be real ball. So eventually we will see CJ Stroud, and eventually it's going to be a lovely thing. Shout out to Sleeper, the greatness it is. Best sports app in the game. Reminder, get that $20 free entry, no deposit needed. And you can get a 100% match up to $100. Use that promo code Locker. So tomorrow we got practice. The SNL is going to be a when I was at my fattest challenge. I lost the challenge to Cody. So I now have to eat a Cody fat ass fast food order, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I'm probably going to kill it in about 20 minutes because let's be honest, I can grub too. I'm not the skinniest guy in the world. So here's what I'm going to have to eat tomorrow during the stream. We got some Texans players talking about when they were at their fattest. So it's going to be a fun stream tomorrow at 4. We'll have the CJ Stroud news. Here's the order that I have to eat. I got to pick an all-time favorite, and I had to get a double meat, double cheese. So I'm going to get number 2 Wada size all the way with cheese, large fries, unsweet tea light ice. And then for the all-time favorite, I'm going to get the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, and I'm going to get the large onion rings that Stoots made me order, and I will eat that during the stream. I don't even think that's hard. I think a lot of you people, even the smallest, could eat that. Large onion ring, large fry, honey barbecue chicken strip, burger, ain't no problem. So we're going to be there. Yes, I'm not eating shit tomorrow until that goes. So we'll do the fat stream tomorrow. And we appreciate y'all for supporting us. We look forward to seeing you at Spanky's. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Hit it, Griffin.
On YouTube, we got taste for days. Opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.